entrail of Drew Martin. And then when we do our closing, we're going to come right back up the line from the far end down, opposite of the open. 2-minute question. Where do you see Lake Worth in 10 years? And what will be the 3 biggest challenges to overcome in that decade? 2 minutes.
Wow.
Scott next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lake Worth in 10 years. I see an electric utility that is a lot more greener than anything else that this state of this country has ever seen, and we're well on the way to putting ourselves there now. Many of you may have not heard, but we are partnering with the organization out of FAU to see if we can harness the Gulf Stream current and actually create electricity. We have the capacity to actually buy that electricity, and should they be able to produce it, we can buy it, then we're going to have a whole cluster industry of companies around the world that are going to come to Lake Worth and set up shop and create jobs that are going to help us reduce our unemployment and to improve on our underemployed population. So that's what I see from an energy standpoint. The other thing I see is continued property values and growth. I see the west side of the city prospering like it's never prospered before. Folks, you don't realize that when I came to the commission initially, there were streets in the west side of the city that had never been paved in the 100 years of the city. I fought for years to get those streets paved and done. And I'm glad to say we were able to get those streets, some of those streets, repaved and redone. As far as the biggest challenge we're going to have in 10 years, I think we're going to have to lock the door to keep folks out because people are really starting to flood into the city. I'm seeing a real influx of new families that are coming into Lake Worth, and it's really wonderful to see that. A younger population. I think that the challenge is still going to be education. I think we're going to be getting a little bit better with our education system, but I think the biggest challenge we're going to have is just making sure that we maintain that small town charm that we have, and we are very sensitive to compatibility when it comes to any new development coming into the city. Thank you.
In 10 years from now, I see a safer Lake Worth in all districts, not just certain areas. I see an area that is greener, both by trees and the natural habitat, but also I would like to see plastic bags banned, as Drew Martin had mentioned earlier. I do a neighborhood cleanup once a month, every single month for 4 years. The amount of trash and litter is unsurmountable. If we get rid of plastic bags, we take care of that right away. I want to see smart economical growth that brings diverse businesses into town. And when I say diverse, we don't need any more of the same bars, restaurants, and antique stores. We need people that are going to bring more destination business into this town. People that will come here just because of art walks, because of things that are happening in Lake Worth. I want to see more homeowners. I want to see less slumlords. Less slumlords are going to happen because I'm going to push for regulated for rent signs. That regulated for rent sign will tell our code enforcement immediately, has the property been inspected? Do they have a use and occupancy license? It's a real quick fix. It'll push out the slumlords, it'll bring in good homeowners, but it'll also give the renters a safe place, a clean place, and a viable place to live. Renters aren't bad. They bring stuff to the city, and we need to remember that. I see a city that's using solar for the advancement of the city, meaning when we put up new lights like they're trying to do in some of the parks right now, that those lights are solar. And when I mentioned that to a city official, they said to me, well, yeah, but then we won't make any money off the electricity. Sometimes you have to take a step backwards to take 3 steps forward. That's what I'm going to bring to the table. Thank you.
Pam Triolo, please.
I see us as a, you know me, I'm a dreamer. I see us as a global leader in renewable energy. I see us teaching the world how to get it done through our own electric utility. I see us channeling the power of the Gulf Stream and turning it into electrons that we can actually purchase. These scientists that come in, they can not only prove their concepts, but we'll pay them for that, and we'll subsidize our grid with clean energy. We can be 100% renewable. That's what I see. Crime is already down 13%. I see crime down more. I see families walking along Dixie Highway on beautiful tree-lined streets and safe sidewalks. I see parks in every district of the city. I see greenways replacing those old, disheveled rights of way that were unimproved throughout the whole south end of the city. I see people and families just coming out and taking advantage of all the great festivals and music. We have more arts in our downtown than anyone else. We have more live music in our downtown than anyone else. We have historic buildings and cottages and all kinds of stuff. We will be the envy of Palm Beach County. I know that everywhere in Lake Worth, and they say Palm Beach and West Palm is where fine art is sold. Well, Lake Worth is where it's created, baby. We're going to be an arts capital, we're going to be a renewable energy capital, and we're going to be the best darn version of ourselves that we've ever been. Thank you.
Drew Martin, you get to be the last of the regular questions.
Well, I see the utility being a profit center for the city. And I'd like to see a 4G network so that our utility can be used to provide internet service to everybody in Lake Worth and becoming a tech hub for South Florida. So that's something that we need to evaluate. The other thing is, I think that the utility should be a net seller of electricity outside of Lake Worth. That can be done through putting solar panels on all our commercial buildings and all our city buildings. Solar panels, the technology is here today. The Gulf Stream is a nice idea. It may work, it may not, but I wouldn't hang my hat on that. Solar panels are something, and we have a company right there in Riviera Beach that manufactures solar panels, and by the way, they can handle winds up to 150 miles per hour, so they're hurricane tolerant. That means when a hurricane comes, we don't run out of power, because you have power right there on your roof. I want to see more electric vehicles used by the city. I want to see the city follow the recommendations that we had when I was on the Climate Change Task Force for the city of Lake Worth. We had made a number of recommendations. I would like the city to pull out those recommendations and look at them. I would like to see the golf course become as well as a golf course for golfers, also a place for migratory birds. More migratory birds pass through our area than most of us realize, but without the native plants and the native trees, those birds don't have any place to stay or to visit and to fulfill their needs. I would also like to see butterfly gardens in all our parks. Now, butterfly gardens enhance our pollinators and provide us, I would like to see gardens, vegetable gardens in some of our city areas that provide food for our young people. And I would like to see us build the city without evicting people, because we need to have housing for all levels of people in the city. We need to have housing for the people that work here, as well as those people that can afford to come here as snowbirds.
Thank you. I see one rebuttal paddle showing. So, do I see two? All right, I see two. Okay, so Drew Martin and Pam Triolo, I'm going.
Let the mayor go first.
Well, I'm going to give you a choice, even or odd.
I'm not a gambler.
Even.
Choice.
He goes first.
Okay.
I actually want to rebut what the mayor was going to say, and I don't know what she's going to say.
That's why I said you go first.
I think she
1
knew
minute.
that, Drew.
Timekeepers, 1 minute.
Well, I'm going to use my minute to talk about the roads and the project, because no one's talked about that tonight. But many of these road projects have not been finished on time, and their people have brought that up. And I'm surprised that no one brought that up tonight. I think it's important when we have these projects that they're finished on time.
Mr. Martin, it's really supposed to be a rebuttal of
I
what
know.
the question is. I mean, you have a closing argument, a closing statement. The lawyer in me once again.
Sustained.
Do you have anything else for?
I'll leave it at that.
I'm sorry that I interrupted you, but
No,
I think it's
that's
supposed to be
okay.
on point for the.
Right. Well, that was my point.
All right, Pam Triolo, well, we have 1 minute.
The reason I had the rebuttal was because the one thing my opponent said, he said that he sees in the vision that the Lake Worth Electric Utility would be a profit center. Does that scare anybody else? That's what happened in the past. What they used was the electric utility as a profit center, and they used it and padded that budget so much that guess what? It became a cash cow for the city. They were running our general fund off of it, and the people like my opponent and the people that are his friends and former electeds, that's what they did. No, when you have renewable energy and you subsidize your grid, guess what? You lower the rates. That's what we just did on residential. When we have more investment in solar and renewable energy, we lower the commercial side of investment and the industrial side of it. We don't want to pad the budget. We don't want to be a profit center right at the pool, but we certainly want to use it as a cash cow again. Absolutely not on my watch.
That's why I wanted to rebuttal.
Should have gone first on the question, on the
choose coin toss, sir.
The coin toss. I was showing that over here, so I was kept showing that, so I was being kept
I'm
honest.
not a cheater.
Yeah. Well, you. So, certainly, are you ready to go with your closing statement?
Sure.
Everyone else ready to go?
Yep.
We're coming, starting way in the far end, coming straight back through. 2 minutes time.
I mean, Pam was fired up, you might want to let her go. It's real simple, guys. You hear everyone talk about how crime is lower. It depends on where you live. District 1 is still the highest in violent crime, lowest in economical stimulation, and lowest amount in home value. I'm not running just to represent District 1, I'm running to represent all of Lake Worth. I'm a business owner. I have an investment to care about and to be concerned about. And when I see businesses leaving left and right, it concerns me. How do we keep them here? What do we do to be more business friendly? How do we engage all community members, regardless of race, creed, color, background, where you're from, and how much money you make and what your address is? Lake Worth needs to be one Lake Worth. We're a great community. When we are in trouble, we pitch in and we help each other. But then once that trouble subsides, all of a sudden you see it come back again. I'm not running to make any riff, I'm running to add to the commission. I get along with most of the people on the commission board. We think alike, we see the same thing. We want positive growth. When I say positive growth, I mean good business decisions for all of Lake Worth. Getting the golf course up, that golf course should have a waiting list for tee times. It should be the major revenue generator for the Parks and Recreation Department. We need to focus on code enforcement and giving them the tools that they need to be more productive. Giving them 4 part-time people to concentrate on things like snipe signs and furniture so they can on porches so they can concentrate on what's really important. Use an occupancy license. And the complaints that they get. Right now they're so overworked and overwhelmed. The software is archaic. We need to invest our money in those things which will take us to the next level, which will take us to the future of Lake Worth. We have a great city. There are certain things that need to be more homed in on. We need a spotlight shown on some of those things. And number 1 is District 1. It is the forgotten district. Things are happening. Certain parts of District 1 are doing great, and those are the parts that are under the CRA. Those are the parts that are making the changes. Those are the areas of District 1 that have more money on the more tax roll and better homes, and people who are engaged, like Royal Point Sienna Neighborhood Association. That's why I want to restructure the CRA to go down to 18th Avenue South to encompass all of Lake Worth for a better Lake Worth. Thank you.
Stop next one.
Thanks, John. And thank you, everybody. It's truly an honor to serve as your city commissioner and to have the opportunity to make some of the positive changes that we've made over the last 4 or 5 years here in the city. We truly have, I believe, made Lake Worth a much better place to live. In the past, we faced major challenges. Most were rooted in our failing infrastructure, in our blighted and deteriorating neighborhoods, or in our excessively high utility rates. But tonight I'm proud to say that we're building those new roads, upgrading our infrastructure, fighting blight and slumlords, attracting new businesses, and creating more jobs, and reduced your electric rates to those that are less than FP&L. It's true, better quality of life goals can truly be reached when we work together, and this commission has done just that. Lake Worth is much stronger and better prepared for its future. I promise to continue, building on our successes and to provide the leadership that you expect and the services that you deserve from your local government. My name is Scott Max, but I hope that you'll once again support me this March 13th and return me to the City Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Drew Martin.
When I talk about the Lake Worth utility being a profit center, that means the profit goes in your pocket. That's important for you to remember. If we were a net seller of electricity, we could lower our rates significantly. The one thing you have to understand about solar, once you pay the capital cost of solar panels, that power is free. If you have a 4G network on your utility and you can get internet access, that provides a benefit to you. So these are benefits to you. Now, we don't want necessarily the electricity utility to be a cash cow, but let's face it. If you look at our budget, we are a fee-driven city, not an ad valorem-driven city. So we need to always remember that fees pay the bulk of our city revenue, not ad valorem. And as long as the CRA dominates significant parts of the highest and best properties in the city, that will remain the case. So we have to live with that. We need to focus on how the budget works in Lake Worth. And I read on a blog, and I don't know if it's true or not, that the only reason we were able to balance the budget was because of this windfall from the lawsuit. I don't know if that's true. I hope that's not true, because it was on a blog, so I know not everything on the internet is true. But the point is, our budget, we are not sailing in the clear. We have made many accomplishments, and I honor those who sit on the dais today. I respect those people. But we are not free and clear, and we have not solved every problem in Lake Worth. We still need to focus on how the budget works in this city, and we need to really determine how we're going to pay for the services we want, because most people want more services, and they're not satisfied with the services they have today. So we always need to remember that. And I appreciate you, and thank you for your vote on March 13th.
Thank you, Pam Peel.
We all chose this city because of something that we just cannot live without, right? Maybe it's the ocean breezes, our historic cottages, our true downtown, our waterfront golf course, our incredible parks, but most importantly, the incredible real people we have here. But of course we had some pretty big flaws too, especially when I got here. But the key was not to internalize them, but admit them and face them head on in an effort to make the city the very best it could be. And that's what I've been doing. I have worked hard to remove so many of the disincentives to living, working, and playing in Lake Worth. Crime is down double digits. Property values are up double digits. Lake Worth's electric rates are down, lower than they've ever been. Commercial and industrial investment is up over $250 million, which will help us to drive our taxes down, helping our citizens invest their dollars on their own families and homes. I also helped to create the city's first ever infrastructure master plan that does everything at the same time and saves us money to the taxpayers. We're implementing over $120 million of infrastructure, repair that was benign neglect by the city for a long period of time. All this without compromising who we are and without selling our souls. While admitting our flaws, I've been a cheerleader for change, restored dignity and self-esteem to areas of the city that have been neglected forever. We've met the challenge with resolve and compassion, and today we're becoming a leader on many fronts, from renewable energy, locally, regionally, nationally, even globally. I want to thank my fellow commissioners, who every single one of them is endorsing me in this run for mayor. I want to thank the police, the firefighters, the Human Rights Council, our local unions, the realtors, and so many more. I want to thank the Napc so much for tonight, for sitting on and stepping up and being the city's backbone. In the old days, yeah, we may have had the us and the them, but today we're only the we. We are Lake Worth, all of us, and we celebrate our diversity. Thank you. Vote for me.
Keep your applause going for John Paxman. Our candidates, our incumbents and our challengers, our timers, our presidents and our neighbors, thank you so much. And of course the Playhouse. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Next Monday, South Palm Park is hosting the other 20 questions you never heard, and you can ask your own at the golf course at 7 p.m. Bryant Park what? 2 weeks later, Bryant Park, if you missed something next Monday night, 7 p.m.